Now the mute button isn't working. I broke the thing. Let me know if you guys can hear me. This is my first live. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Yes, perfect. Thank you. Got somebody to tell me yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy. Stephanie's still getting ready because this is very early for her. It's 8:53 on the West Coast.
I can't believe it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's 8:53 and Stephanie, why are you wearing a jean jacket? Are you going somewhere after this?
Absolutely.
Where are you going to go?
Go to the liquor store.
You going to go to the liquor store? I don't blame you.
Got you chapstick.
Thank you.
We don't wear makeup, if anyone doesn't know that already. We wear chapstick and moisturizer. I didn't put any moisturizer on.
Oh my God.
I didn't.
We have 6 minutes to go. We are signed up. I'm not sure if we can actually show this to you, but I'm going to have the volume up so you can hear it. And
I gotta get her settled.
Okay. And we got to get Lady settled and Lewis settled, our dogs, and make sure they have bones to chew on. Put peanut butter in the Kong. Who puts peanut butter in their dog's Kong to calm them down? We do that all the time. It's a little trick. Anyways, we are in Stephanie's kitchen, and it's raining right now. It's currently pouring down rain in Portland, Oregon.
Dude, it's pouring down rain everywhere.
Yeah, West Coast is pretty bad. And we've got 5 minutes to go. This is going to be really bad. And a lot of people were kind of upset that we did this.
Moisturizer?
It's okay. I'm fine. A lot of people were upset.
Little life hack. Just put some moisturizer and chapstick on when you wake up. Don't put makeup on.
Okay.
Makeup causes wrinkles. There you go.
Do you want coffee?
Yeah, Nancy. I've never had a cup of coffee.
Do you want
No,
coffee?
thank you.
Okay.
I don't drink coffee, but my twin sister wants to know if I want coffee.
I made some coffee with my French press. I'm going to press it. Bing.
People with high anxiety and insomnia should not be drinking coffee.
Well, I mean, I'm not crazy like you.
Wait, what does that have to do with people with high anxiety?
Now, I don't know if anybody can tell, but Stephanie is a morning person. Okay, we have 4 minutes.
I actually am. I walk my dog.
A lot of people are a little upset that we are doing this, and the reason
what if they cut us off?
They're not going to cut us off because I'm not going to put it on the screen.
Oh.
Right now, all it has is
why can't we show it though?
Because we can't. They say that you can't.
Oh, that's messed
We're
up.
going to cover it. We're going to say what the questions are. We're going to make fun of every time he says something stupid, which is going to be every single time.
Polar Springs seltzer water. Have you had a seltzer today? This is no sodium, no sugar, seltzer.
So a lot of people are wondering why we're doing this. Well, first of all, the ticket costs $33 and you have to get the book as well, which sucks. So I had the book sent to my mom's house because I don't even want it like in the vicinity.
Mom
of
and dad. You make it sound like they're divorced.
Yeah. Both our parents. We don't even want it in the vicinity of our area. And I certainly don't want them.
Who's he talking to today?
He's talking to Garber Mate. And this dude,
Dr. Garber Mate.
Dr. Garber Mate.
This is like, if anyone watches Real Housewives, this is like, or Kardashian, this is like Dr. A, right?
Yeah.
This is like a paid.
Well, he's a little more, I don't know. I mean, he does like the Joe Rogans of the world. He does like the Lex Friedmans of the world.
Why is my stove the back piece?
Stephanie, I really need you to stop. Okay. I've been here an hour. You've had a chance to give your opinion on where everything's going. You didn't. It's not the time.
I moved all the recycling.
Stephanie, it's not the time. Okay. Anyways, Garber Mate is a Hungarian, well, he's a Canadian physician and author. His background is in family practice and special interest in child development and trauma. This is where we're going to get into like
the child trauma.
Child trauma. But what he's really controversial for is he suggests like taking drugs to get over addiction and get over.
You should.
Can you read the comments while I talk about this?
Should we write back to them?
No, just
we need to
answer.
write back to
them.
them.
You answer them live.
Oh, I've never been on live before.
Come on. Oh, hello, Ireland. I love Ireland. Our dad's half Irish. South Africa.
Hi from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is an awesome city.
Georgia. Love Georgia.
I was there for Christmas once and it was awesome.
But we're doing this and it costs $33. You get the book. We are doubling what we paid for this ticket and giving it to a animal rescue group. So don't worry. It is for the good. But I really want to see hi from Washington State. Our dad was born in Everett, Washington, Lake Stevens. Maryland, love Maryland.
Island, it makes noise.
Okay, sorry. East Yorkshire. I love England. I love it. I'm trying to go in May for the coronation.
Nancy,
I really am.
Never happen.
If my boyfriend's not touring, I'm definitely going to try to be there.
That sounds awful.
Philippines. Oh my God, we're huge Lea Salonga fans.
She's from the Philippines.
Manila.
I love
we
her.
are huge Lea Salonga fans. Okay, so this is going to start soon. The event. Oh, now it says, so Harry's late. It says it hasn't started yet.
Harry's late. It hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Big shocker.
They want us to know.
Wait, so is he on this with him in the room, or is he?
No, I have a feeling that
he's doing the bare minimum.
Harry is doing the bare minimum, like always. Like always. Hi from Las Vegas. My parents are snowbirds, and our vacation home is in Henderson, Nevada.
7 Hills, baby.
Hey, Dorothy, maybe you can hang out by our pool one day and we can chat about Meghan and Harry.
Oh gosh.
You all are my new favorite YouTubers. Well, Angela, you're our new favorite viewer. Hi from Scotland. Love the Scots. Love you guys. My boyfriend's Scottish. Scottish.
Love
Corpus Christi, Texas. I can never say that in one. I was just in Austin. That's as much I know about Texas. I've been to Austin. That's it. You two are awesome. Well, Cincinnati girl, you're awesome too. Hey, have you ever seen that
WKRP
in Cincinnati? Have you ever seen the Cincinnati Kids in the Hall? That's pretty funny.
Kids in the Hall.
The Isle
of
Wight. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The Isle of Wight.
Move this a little. Sorry.
Do you need your glasses?
I think it's no, I'm good. I don't need glasses.
I do. Does anyone else need glasses, especially in the morning? I can't see anything. I have stigmatism.
Does that mean Brazil? Hello from Brazil?
Brazil.
My hometown is Cincinnati. Oh, okay, Dorothy, your hometown.
WKRP.
Yeah, Dorothy, don't ever mention Cincinnati again or Stephanie will keep singing that song. Please stop. Stephanie,
in that
stop.
show?
Hello from Wales. Love Wales. The Prince and Princess of Wales were there recently.
I can't believe Harry's late for his own show.
It hasn't started yet.
And we spent
now it's a black
$60 on this crap.
Now it's a black screen.
That's insanity to me. Just reload it.
We didn't spend $60. No. Don't reload it. Don't reload it. It hasn't started yet. I wouldn't mess with it.
I'm taking care of the dog.
Okay. South Africa. Oh, in Vietnam. Love Vietnam. Hello from Ottawa, Canada. Hi, Ottawa, Canada. I've been all over Canada, Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Sydney. I love Canada. Oh, Banff. I went to Banff recently. It's beautiful. I mean, this is ridiculous. They are so
I can't believe that he's late for his own party. It's insane. He's probably, you know what it is? He's probably trying to get people to join.
Well, okay.
Like on the side. I think this is all.
Fun fact.
This
everybody.
event is
fun
private.
fact. Fun fact.
Hold on, we got to put the password in. I just can't believe it. This is like one of those conventions that they buy tickets for themselves. You know what I mean? Wait, what are those called? Fraud conventions.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Remember Megan had to like buy tickets for her own for her own thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's what this is right now. Everyone's just they're like, we don't have enough people joining, so we have to buy our own.
Do I have to get on Vimeo to do this? Is that why it's not coming up? Because it should just be up here.
Nancy, if you screw this up,
I'm not going to screw it up.
you're going to let everybody down. You're going to let all these people from Cincinnati down.
Let everybody down.
And Peru. And good job.
Okay, it should be starting. Now there's a black screen and it's just kind of bright. It says live.
Raises universal truths about grief and loss. And it does what
Okay, it's
the very
on,
best books
finally.
educates,
And
promotes,
your boyfriend just
and
texted you.
reflection.
Okay. Stephanie,
Books
stop.
such as this
It's
unite.
live.
Gabor Mate is author most recently of The Method of Normal and earlier bestsellers including The Realm of Hungry Ghosts.
Who's this guy?
He's introducing the interview.
Oh, okay. Quiet. There's a guy on the screen right now. What are you doing, dude?
I'm doing closer so they can hear it.
There's a white guy with gray hair and a suit introducing Harry and Dr. Mate.
Like he.
Okay, here we go. Here's Dr. Mate.
Yes, I'm glad you made it through the snow. Yeah.
Oh, they are. They're in the same room together. He's wearing a gray outfit. Harry is wearing a gray outfit and jeans. A gray blazer and jeans.
The reaction to the news of it. It's strongly two divergent streams of responses to this proposed event that is now taking place. It seemed to me there were the people that hadn't read your book, and then there was those that probably did.
Nobody read his book.
Shit.
They're promoting the book.
It was hostile. It seems like in people that have read about the book, but not the book itself, that they see you as just wallowing in self-pity and prepare.
Okay, what Dr. Mate is doing right now is he's blaming us for not reading the book and only going by headlines. And he's
No, do you hear what he's saying though?
he's gaslighting us.
Yeah, he's gaslighting.
He's starting the
I hear it.
conversation
I hear it.
gaslighting.
Do you see yourself as a victim? Or
Do you see yourself as a victim?
I
can hear.
Responses?
Let us know if you can hear.
Well, I certainly don't see myself as a victim. Yeah. I'm really grateful to be able to share my story in the hope that it will help, empower, and encourage others. And hopefully let people understand that, again, back to the human experience, that we are in some shape or form all connected, especially through
Move it closer.
trauma. But no, I do not, and I have never looked for sympathy in this.
Harry's never looked for sympathy, guys.
The experiences that I've had throughout my childhood, throughout my life, throughout my 38 years, albeit relatively short. I'm not looking forward to becoming 40, that's for sure. But through those experiences and through the work that I've done for 2 decades now around mental health and mental illness, I've always felt as though sharing whatever I can of my story will help someone or some people out there. And, you know,
Hear not so good.
certainly one of the things that
I can hear clearly.
people
Can you guys hear
constantly
this?
appreciate about my books as well as that I'm right in it. Like I talk about my own dysfunctions, problems,
What if
issues, the strains in my marriage, you know, everything. Because it is so human. It's not personal to either you and I. But that vulnerability helps so many other people.
No,
That's
don't
right.
touch
And I've shared enough over my life. There's people that have shared things of my life
Echo sounding.
outside of my control.
Because it's echo sounding because the quality sucks right now. That's why. It's their fault.
that I think are important.
He does this all on Zoom. So this could have been free, by the way. He's just
It
being
does,
a
it feels
greedy,
good, but it also feels,
greedy,
to me, it
greedy
feels like an act
boy.
of service. And I think that's probably the same for you as well,
Mic
which is
closer,
that
better.
vulnerability is so important. If you can, we can encourage other people to be vulnerable themselves.
He's
to
talking
have
about being
conversations with
vulnerable.
their own families, and conversations with themselves,
They wanna
and
hear it.
acknowledge what has happened to them.
Now, for those that are not sure what vulnerability means, it comes from the Latin word vulnerare, to wound. And as human beings, we're all profoundly vulnerable, human conception till death. The only question is, do we acknowledge our vulnerability or do we deny it? And I think this culture often denies vulnerability. Now, you told me in our preliminary conversation that until you began therapy, it's like you lived in a bubble.
Here we go.
And
Selling therapy.
Therapy just burst that bubble for you. Can you talk about the bubble that you lived in and what you mean by that and what that bursting of the bubble meant for you?
I think that I'm still, to this day, unclear as whether it was one bubble or whether it was multiple bubbles.
That's a good point.
But I don't know if you've seen the film The Boy in the Bubble. It kind of felt like that to some extent. But my awareness to my own story, my own self, was distorted. Perhaps because of my environment that I was confined in. But also again, society, I think what it does to you, almost like box you in. And I would say my first discovery of therapy and the need to go a little bit deeper to unpack some of the stuff that had happened and that I had suppressed was the first outer bubble that burst. I didn't find a therapist that suited me.
I too.
So I gave up on the search, but that was certainly the initial part where I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. I said, well, it hurt at first, but then it made total sense because as a kid, that is exactly what happened to me. So
Nancy's
one
boyfriend's
major
calling.
element that I remember, but for sure there was more before that, like most of us. And then when I found my therapist and started to really unpack, 12-year-old Harry, at the point where my mother died,
Yes.
that started to unravel all sorts of.
He's talking about Princess
moments.
Diana.
They can hear this.
One of the things I was
I was
most scared
telling you
about
too.
was losing the feeling that I had of my mum. I thought that if I went to therapy, that it would cure me, and that I would lose whatever I had left, whatever I had managed to hold on to of my mother. And it turns out that wasn't the case. I didn't lose that.
The opposite.
It was the opposite. I turned
Mushrooms.
what I thought was supposed to be sadness to try to prove to her that I missed her. Into realizing that actually she really just wanted me to be happy.
Yeah.
And that was a huge weight off my chest.
Well, so let's, just before we go on, let's just define trauma in a way that many people can understand, because they tend to have sort of and trauma is a word that's misused. It's used somewhat promiscuously. People say, I went to a picnic and it rained and it was traumatic. No, it wasn't. It was just disappointing. Or I saw a movie and I was traumatized. No, you weren't. You were just upset.
I was traumatized.
But trauma actually means a wound. It comes from a Greek word for wound or wounded. And it's a wound that doesn't heal. So psychologically, people are wounded early in life. And until that wound heals, they remain the imprints of that wound. So recognizing trauma is not being victimized. It's actually allowing the possibility of healing that wound. And it seems to me that that's the journey that
He doesn't look happy.
And still.
And you know what? I hate to tell you, but he's 79, so am I.
I think we all. I've said it before. I think it was a couple of years ago in the mental health documentary that I did with Oprah, and it was something that I really believe in. I believe that 99.9% of us all on planet Earth right now are carrying around some form of unresolved grief, trauma, and or loss.
From this.
And the sooner that we all accept that we are all carrying that, then the sooner we can all get along.
That's Scientology. I just want to let anyone who doesn't see the thing?
where you find out about
There's a
human
big
understanding.
above the fireplace. There's
It's
a
in the
big
middle of the night, I think.
thing, a spare with Harry's face, and the books are on the mantle.
And Victor or Monty's book.
To tell you the news.
This is just to sell his book. That's it,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
We spent $30 for nothing.
Fashion that says it's going to be okay.
The cat litter is more interesting.
And you're left on your own. And what struck me in that passage, as in so many other passages in the book, is the lack of touching, the lack of a child being held.
What?
At some point you wanted to hug your grandmother, and you got this back because it wasn't done. When you come back from Afghanistan, after your stint in the military, you're greeted by your father and your brother maybe hugs you, you're not sure, you can't quite remember. Your dad touches you on the shoulder, and you said, to everybody, this looked like a normal family interaction, but to you it was an unprecedented expression of affection. And it's multi-generational.
He's saying he could never hug his grandma.
The Queen never hugged him.
And his father never touched him.
On a long royal tour, when she comes back, she greets her 5-year-old son by shaking her hand. So what is it about the...
They said about the Queen when she went away for 6 months.
In his family, and it's obviously multi-generational. And how do you think that affects a young child? Now that you're a father yourself.
I can't believe he's sticking to this,
When you're a
man.
professional, you can tell me.
Where did they leave you?
Where does it leave me? It leaves me in the position now as a father.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids of my own, making sure that I smother them with love and affection.
He's saying his grandma and his father never gave him love or attention and never hugged him.
Talk about
You know,
this.
I
Lying,
sort
lying.
of feel a huge responsibility to ensure that I don't pass on any traumas or any negative experiences that I've had as a kid or as a man growing up.
Those kids are already screwed up. They've got a mom who's nuts.
Being conscious of my behavior, my reactions to both of my kids. And there are times when I catch myself in a moment where I should be smothering them with that love. And in that moment, I might not be. And I was like, oh, no. You need to, if you're here, or you were here, or your family had been here, and this is where maybe everybody else is, you need to be here. And I enjoy that. And I don't know whether I would have been as aware of it. In fact, I wouldn't have been as aware of it had I not done the therapy and the work that I've done.
He's saying that he's better now because he's taking classes online. He wants everyone to buy the classes online.
Which is the imperative not to pass on our trauma onto our kids. I just hadn't done the work yet, hadn't begun to do the work yet.
We're taking notes, guys. Don't worry. We'll have all the video and we'll have all the pictures.
To get the impact on you.
No, we won't.
We'll have the pictures, man.
You don't
On Twitter, you don't think that they're gonna have it?
Not getting
You don't think they're gonna
get stop. But imagine the impact on them would be.
I don't know what the impact would be, but I think the result would be very similar.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, I am grateful to have been able to change my environment. Yeah. Which I fully appreciate that not everyone.
He's talking about moving.
Yeah. Right? Because it comes down to results as well.
That's right.
And you know, when there are tough decisions that are put in front of you, or you are confronted with tough decisions, I think there's a lot of fear involved, where you perhaps, as an individual, as a husband, as a father, you know what the right decision and the necessary decision is, but you're afraid of making it because you know you're going to lose. And well, I think there are, just by the nature of where I am now and what has happened in the process, I've lost a lot. But at the same time, I've gained a lot. To see my kids growing up here the way that they are,
Behind
I just can't
gates.
imagine how that would be possible back in that environment. So you can, the way that I understand it is, you can every day trying your best to make sure that you don't hand on any traumas that you have as a parent.
Yeah.
But if you're still stuck within the same environment, it kind of almost feels self-defeating. So to be able to change what I would say the root cause of so much of those issues, to be able to move, and that to me feels as though it gives me much more of a chance, and my wife, more agency as parents, to be able to bring our kids up in a way that is really, really beneficial and good for them.
Beneficial.
I had an incredible childhood as far as I can remember. Elements of it. And elements of it were incredibly painful. You're about to tell me that.
I'm shaking my head here because when I read your book, it was a story of deprivation. And I don't mean deprivation on the physical level. On the physical level, you're the scion of one of the richest families in the world and wielded with power and privilege. But if I think of a little child who was born into a marriage where there's a lack of love between the parents, where there's conflict, where there is, again, this is multi-generational, we're not blaming anybody, but when there's infidelity, where the father who clearly loves his kids, but can't help but be emotionally distant because that's what he was raised. But the father himself, this is Charles, was bullied mercilessly as a kid.
King Charles.
Where he was made fun of for his best qualities of sensitivity and intellectual interest.
Dr. Monte's destroying King Charles right now.
You know, animals have their kids. Wolves, you know, and there's a British anthropologist, Ashley Montague, wrote a book called Touch, the Human Significance of Skin, the importance of just being held.
Wow.
That's the first thing we do as parents when we have the job.
That's what we hope to do.
Skin to skin.
Yeah, and when I think of that point of view,
God.
it's a story of deprivation. And it's not because people didn't love you. It's because they're limited themselves in their own capacity to respond emotionally.
We only know what we know.
Yeah.
And you know, for myself and my wife, you know, we do the best we can as parents.
Yeah.
Learning from our own pasts.
Yeah.
And then overlapping those mistakes perhaps, and being able to grow together in order to be able to provide for our kids and to be able to break that cycle.
Yes.
And I think that's so important. It's not easy. You certainly don't make friends in the process in the short term.
Well, I'm going to come to that as well, the question of making friends. But before I do, when you look at the literature on trauma, there are what we call the big T traumas, the terrible things that happen, or the difficult things that happen, such as death of a parent, a divorce, conflict in the family, you know, those. And then there's what we call the small T traumas, which is not about that.
William had all those too. Everyone has those traumas.
And that's the
Yeah,
being
they
touched
death,
and held and
divorce.
abused and murdered. And
So that's all six then.
well, you got them all.
I got them all.
I know you got them all. So when you say you had this great child, and I'm saying I know there were great moments.
Yeah.
But I think there was also a lot of suffering. You know, and
But isn't that the same for most of us?
that's the whole point. It is. You know,
It's probably even more so in today's world than 20 years ago.
I agree. It's only that do we recognize it or do we not recognize it? And do we deal with it or do we not deal with it? Now, when I read your book, for me, the most inspiring thing, actually, like I didn't care about the world now, I really, I wouldn't have read the book for that.
Like
reason.
we.
Actually, I would resist reading the book because I didn't care more about what happens in Buckingham Palace. I see the crown, I don't know, but whatever that's worth. But what struck me when I read the book
He's seen the crown.
was the absolute universal humanity of a human being from an early age on really struggling to be themselves. See, I'm going to read you one of my favorite quotes, and then tell me a reaction to it and how it relates to your journey. Okay, this is from a German poet, Rainer Maria Rilke, who said that people have have, with the help of so many conventions, resolved everything the easy way, on the easiest side of the easy. But it is clear that we must embrace struggle. Every living being conforms to it. Everything in nature grows and struggles in its own way, establishing its own identity, insisting on it at all costs. We can be sure of very little, but the need to court struggle is a surety that will not leave us. Now, it strikes me that could be the theme of your book, of a human being really struggling to make themselves against the demands of convention, in the face of the role that was thrust upon you, and you keep in the book,
What role?
whether consciously or unconsciously, but you keep articulating this need that you have to be yourself and to find your own identity in the face of expectations. And that's what's, I think, to me, is so universal in the book and also so inspiring.
Well, I certainly have felt throughout my life, throughout my younger years, I always felt slightly different to the rest of my family. I felt strange being in this container. And I know that my mom felt the same. So it makes sense to me. It didn't make sense at the time. I felt as though my body was in there, but my head was out, and then sometimes it was vice versa. But the times that I ventured towards being myself, being my authentic, true self, for one shape or another, whether it was through media or family or whatever it was almost like, don't be yourself. Come back to what you're expected to be.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
That totally makes total sense. And it's, in my own book, I talk about this tension between attachment, which is our need to belong, and authenticity, which is our need to be ourselves.
And it's a constant battle.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
We should be able to be authentic and be attached and be accepted. Often we're not. And so then it's a choice. Do I become myself? Or do I give up myself in order to belong? And I think that's a line you can walk in, isn't it? That's the decision you have to make all along.
Yeah, again, a line that I think, based on all the conversations that I've had with the people that I've met over the years, a line that so many people are walking. And I really hope, and I hoped right from the beginning when I turned around to the people that were helping me write this book, I want this to be an act of service. It needs to be, because I know how important it is sharing these stories, how you can save a life and you can improve lives, because you're almost giving permission for people to talk about their own stuff.
And to be themselves.
And to be themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly. And society doesn't really help us. And I would say even more so within my family, because of the expectations and because of how you're cast as individuals. But at the beginning of the book, I talk about how I didn't even really know myself to start with. So if I didn't know myself, how could other members of the family truly know the real me?
Well, what I actually look is the other way around. When the parents are able to see the child for who he is or who she is or who they are, then the child gets to know themselves. When the parents are limited in their capacity to see and accept the child loses touch with themselves. And hence the lifelong struggle to become ourselves again. Because originally, for us to know ourselves, we have to be mirrored and validated in our true selves. And if we're not, we lose contact, we lose touch.
That again proves, I guess, the point to me of how free I felt with my trips to Africa.
Well, I was
being in the wilderness and
so that's a big theme in your book. Freedom is actually a big theme in your book, and it comes up a number of times.
Chelsea Davy.
Let me actually, if I can find it. You talk about some kinds of fame provide extra freedom. Maybe, I suppose, but royal fame was fancy captivity. So it's like you live in the other occasional. And then at some point you say, towards the end of the book, when is someone in this family going to break free and live? Have you done that?
I have now.
Yeah.
It
What does it feel like?
was great. I mean, once the book came out, I felt incredibly free. I felt a huge weight off my shoulders. But I also, the system of which I was, I guess to some extent still am part of,
He's an idiot.
doesn't encourage
So stupid.
the living of the free living.
I can't believe
Well,
we're
I think,
watching him sell spare.
You were maybe working hard to become more aware and more independent. But the more you did, the less that was appreciated in your mind.
But there lies a problem, and I think this is again hugely relatable to so many families where, however big your family is, and I think a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of families are complicated, and a lot of families are dysfunctional as well.
Yeah.
But for me, when I was doing therapy regularly, when I say regularly, I was doing it once every other week, and then I reduced it to once every few months. I did it when I really needed it. I wish I'd done it before.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, the sooner that you do it, the better. But yeah, I suddenly realized that I'd learned a new language.
Yeah.
And the people that I was surrounded
I
by
realize that, so that's why it does sound like
weren't
that. I'm just saying you're
speaking that
speaking
language.
out.
So I actually felt more pushed aside. And then I started, actually said to my therapist, I said, okay, I've got a problem. This is working for me, and I'm starting to, go back to the point of trauma and be able to unravel and unpack everything so that I can now live a truly authentic life and be genuinely happy.
Yeah.
And be a better dad for my kids.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm feeling more and more distant with my loved ones and my family.
Yeah.
This is a problem. And she turned around and says, this is how it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it was, I viewed it as a disadvantage. And I did the thing of trying to encourage.
How I put that is that you can have two kinds of pain. You can have the pain of not being yourself, or not being authentic, or you can have the pain of being authentic and then perhaps losing.
I think he's going to bring up
Ideally, you shouldn't have
frog
to face
more,
that
guys.
choice.
I think they're waiting until like the
But
last
for a
10
lot of
minutes.
People, it's totally universal in this culture is that a lot of people have to make a decision. Am I going to be myself?
I don't think
Or
so.
will I be
No.
liked and accepted by others? And sometimes, if I'm being myself, I will not be liked and accepted. Sometimes to be liked and accepted, I have to suppress who I am. And when you went to Africa with young friends, Mike and Peaches, said that they are the first ones, if I remember right, that could accept your, what you call your natural wildness. What did that feel like? Can you finally be accepted as wild?
It helped because I was in the wild.
Yeah.
So I felt very comfortable. But it was a beautiful thing to have people who saw me.
Yeah.
Who loved me, who wanted to support me, and gave me the space to be myself.
Yeah.
So it felt great. And then the flying back into London was a bit of was always the snap out of it moment. And that's happened throughout my life. Again, as I talk about in the book, whether it's walking to the South Pole, whether it's spending, a month in Africa, working there with friends.
Many people pay computers.
And then it was having to come back to that reality, but with that reality, that distorted reality, with these endless filters that I was looking through life at.
And you keep looking for your identity.
Yeah, I didn't know that I was.
Yeah.
And that's, again, what's so much, the beauty of hindsight looking back at my life then was the things that I was doing. Why was I doing them the way that I was doing them? Why was I reacting the way that I would? And I wasn't, I was giving the impression to everybody that I was happy, but I now know that I wasn't happy.
Well, when I read the book, you talk about your rugby days in school.
Yeah.
Oh, you were kind of dangerous to be around because you weren't afraid of pain. Because you said that the physical pain of being hit on the rugby field was less than the pain that you're carrying inside you.
I was a good candidate for rugby team.
Yeah.
I got picked on quite a lot and pushed into rugby posts, and that my nose broken a couple of times. But at the same time, I was also a fantastic candidate for the military. I don't know how it is around the rest of the world, but certainly in the UK, we tend to recruit from broken homes. Individuals that are
I think that's
ready for it.
And people who need structure.
Yeah.
And people who need purpose and discipline, which makes it that your childhood where you actually called fickle, which is kind of what is it? It's kind of a nickname for stupid, thick and head, and naughty. And it seems like for a while you accepted that view of yourself. Like you seem to have a lot of self-loathing.
Self-doubt.
Self-doubt, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's like you absorb the view of the adults of you, or the head of you. But what I read there is a child who's actually just doesn't fit the mold. It's kind of aggressively themselves. And the adults have difficulty with that. And then you call that naughty. Instead of actually seeing the value of the child's natural exuberance.
Yeah. Not just the adults, the way there's teachers at school, the way the system is set up.
Yeah.
If you're not like, sit here, read this book, do this way. I was an outdoor person. I was, put me on a rugby field or football field and off I go and have me trudging around in the countryside. That was always my thing. Sitting in a classroom was my idea of.
Well, it was in Africa where somebody tells you the story of a battle in the Great Zulu War, where he said that's the first lecture I've ever listened to.
You can see.
And
You're doing it too.
my own first book was on attention deficit disorder when I was diagnosed with it myself in my 50s. I kind of said, okay, now I get it, and you do talk about your difficulty paying attention and the scatteredness of your mind and so on.
It's true.
He's perfect then for helping people.
When it's coming at you from all angles.
Yeah.
Then you're not left with really any other options than to accept it.
Yeah.
They're selling books, therapy, and drugs.
My confidence was completely knocked, and I kind of got to the point where I accepted, okay, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And then, rather than going to university, I chose to go into the military. And all of a sudden, I found myself with opportunities that I thrived at.
Yeah.
Rather than sitting at a desk or working behind a computer or anything like that, I was at anything that involved my hands, I was much better at doing. A skill set where your office is at 2,000 feet or at 150 feet, flying at 140 knots. I was much more comfortable in that office than sitting in an office.
Well, and you say something very telling. And by the way, I gotta say this. I'm gonna say it. I don't particularly align with the West invasion of Afghanistan, of which you were part.
No, that's good.
I don't go into the politics, but I don't want to sit here pretending. That's all. Okay. Having said that, I understand the experience, and when you talk about it, when you talk about Afghanistan, and you're experienced there, you say you're cold, dark night, Afghanistan, and so on, and you feel normal, and then you say, how normal does my life have to be for me to feel normal in that situation?
Yeah.
What does that say to us about the nature of what's normal and what's not normal?
Read his book, I'm sure it explains everything. I know it does.
Yeah.
But just jumping back to that previous point, one of the reasons why certainly so many people in the United Kingdom were not supportive of our troops was because they assumed that everybody that was serving was for the war. Yeah. But no, once you sign up, you do what you're told to do. Yeah. So there was a lot of us that didn't necessarily agree or disagree, but you were doing what you were trained to do. You were doing what you were sent to do.
So interesting. Now, one of the intentions that I know you have is to
This is what he's
remove the
wearing.
stigma on mental health or to help remove their stigma of mental health issues.
Sure.
Specifically mental health,
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
And
Yeah, it's fine.
when I read your book as a clinician, you can agree or disagree, but I came up with several diagnoses that seem to own in the book. Now, whether you like it or not, I diagnosed you with ADD.
We'll be showing video and pictures on our next video.
Should I say that or should
Not a
I
lot.
get into it?
Oh, you can do what you want, I understand. But except that I will tell you, I don't see it as a disease.
Yeah.
I see it as a normal response to abnormal stress. When a kid is in a stressful environment, one way they cope with it is they dissociate, they scatter their attention.
Yeah.
So that they remove themselves from the stress. And I think there's a lot of stress in your life. So I think it's a normal response to abnormal circumstances, not a disease.
Again,
They love their
lots of
own
stress
dogs.
in everybody's lives.
Yeah.
And
You're a bit more sensitive. And I also think you're one of these very sensitive kids.
I've certainly always been sensitive, and I guess I
I think that's good.
go back and question something that, not question, but ask your opinion on something that we talked about earlier about is there an age limit before we go on to the list of, I can see the long list of how you diagnose me, which is very, very exciting. Free session, wonderful. But is there an age limit to where you have a cutoff of where you have an opportunity to be able to recover and heal from your past?
No, I
Thank
think
you, Anne.
that's the beauty of this conversation and the beauty of the stance that you've taken in the moment. So that once we recognize the trauma and its impact, it can be healed at any age. At any age, yeah.
That's encouraging.
Oh yeah, no, I have the standard
He doesn't
line.
have
I
any.
say I'm 79 years old now. And I'm glad I'm not as young and stupid as I was when I was 78. You know?
Look like
So
we're drinking
the healing, the development of
What?
your brain
Why?
circuits in response to new experience is always available, given the right support, given the right environment, given the right circumstances. That's why such conversations are so important.
But it starts with acknowledgement,
It has to start with acknowledgement.
which is blocked by fear.
Exactly.
So once you can get over the fear of going back to your point of trauma or accepting, acknowledging that these things have happened to you, as opposed to what is wrong with you,
Yeah.
then you can stop the process, which may take longer for other people, or some people, and short for others.
That's the beauty of it, is that once you acknowledge it, when you overcome the fear of acknowledgement, then the healing can begin. And this is why none of us are victims. If you choose not to be, we actually can get agency. You know, and that's I think the work that you're doing. You know.
And I was scared of so much. I told you I was scared of losing the feeling that I had with my mum, and I think that was the grief, and in a weird way, I enjoy holding on to that. I let go of the sadness of it.
It's
But
port.
there's that feeling that I kept.
We're drinking
That
port.
memory of her. And I never want to lose that.
It's a dessert wine.
But the fear of
It's a breakfast wine.
Breakfast
the fear
dessert.
is a very
Same
controlling
thing.
force. And certainly in my circumstances, my past circumstances, it was a case of, now I realise that there's a really tricky decision here. There's a choice. There wasn't a choice before.
That's right.
I wasn't aware that there was a choice.
That's right.
And then I became aware of my situation, my environment, and I was like, now there's a choice. There's a choice to the point of where if I take this change in my life, then I am inevitably going to get hugely criticized. But I cannot allow the fear of that to keep me stuck in this environment, because it is not right for me, it's not right for my wife, it's not right for my children. I need to change this. And it was a risk, but it was a risk worth taking.
Well, I'm glad you found it out.
Back to the list.
So back to your long list of diagnoses, okay?
How
So,
long has this been?
and
It's a good
the
port.
point I'm
It's a
really making
bold port.
none of these should be seen as diseases as such, but as normal responses to abnormal circumstances.
Well, I would hope again for you and for everybody else watching that the list is proof that you can overcome these things.
Absolutely.
And
Harry made a list,
and it may be
and
a
it's
lifelong
proof.
healing process,
Yeah.
but
He made a list.
whereas it's very easy to put a name to something and then people come with the judgment of that.
Not trying to flatter you here, but you know a lot more about mental health than I did at your age.
I've had the beauty and pleasure of meeting lots of people, both within the sort of the professional space, but also not.
Yeah.
And my job has always been about trying to join the dots and see where there's consistency, so that I can focus on one thing, hoping to cure and fix so many other things. The root cause.
Well, seeing the larger picture is one of the characteristics of the
No, I haven't,
minds that are
Laura.
diagnosed with ADD very often. Seeing the connections.
Whatever I say,
Then you talk about very openly about your anxiety and panic disorder.
That was a moment of my life which was horrible every time I
Yeah,
AJ. AJ's great.
We love AJ.
He's on Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. He's great. The comedian. AJ the comedian.
He's on TikTok too.
I'd be walking down a line of people
What did you
shaking
say?
their
Who did-
hands, and
I
the moment
forgot
I
it was
found
his-
someone who was sweating more than me, I would stop. I would continue a conversation. The people behind me saying, "Excuse me, sir, you need to move on." I say, "Give me a second, I'm okay." And over the course of 2 or 3 minutes, both of our temperatures would start to reduce. They'd stop sweating, I'd stop sweating, and then I'd move on and I'd feel much better. But yeah, I was since age 12, apart from being in a state of shock, I was in fight or flight. And I think the biggest understanding that I've learned, or I wish I knew before, was nervous system regulation.
Oh God.
Because for me, that has
Better up.
always been the core
Say
of my
better
problem. I know I talk a lot about mental health and how certain
He's
elements of my
he's
life
selling
have to
Better Up
overcome
right
and
now.
deal with and
Harry
understand.
is.
But ultimately, this is, for me, it's more about emotional regulation, emotional well-being.
It
He's
is what it's all about. And,
selling courses online right now. That is so pathetic.
A friend of mine with whom I just spent some.
Did he sweat like Andrew?
Los Angeles, a psychiatrist named Dr. Daniel Siegel, who is internationally known, and in his book, The Developing Mind, he says that the young child uses the immature brain of the young child, uses the mature circuits of the adult brain to help regulate themselves. But that assumes that the adults have mature, regulated brains, and when they don't, we don't develop self-regulation. And then we have to learn it throughout our life course.
And I had none of that.
Yeah, and you didn't have it.
And as I talk about how offended I was in one of my therapy sessions, when she turned around, she goes, "We're dealing with 12-year-old Harry here."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Well,
I didn't come here
to be insulted.
to be insulted and what? But the moment I started to unpack that, I started to then look at myself.
But you'll come to America where you're
and
mocked
realize,
daily.
wow. Okay, now I have a greater understanding, and for the role that I played and still play, that is a gift to be able to acknowledge it within yourself and be able to understand how that plays out for so many other people.
Absolutely.
So I was really grateful for that. I was I was texting with the other day.
You think you're insulted when they call you to my own wife says to me, "Stop being such a baby," and and when I actually think about it, I am being a baby at such a point. At a certain point, I revert. This is the impact of trauma. At some point, you revert to much younger ages.
Oh, thank
When you
you.
get triggered, or you get upset, and so on.
But also, hang on back before you go to this.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But at 11 months old,
Yeah.
you were handed off to a complete stranger
I was. Yeah.
for 6 weeks.
5 or 6 weeks.
5 or 6 weeks.
And what
That's what happened to Harry.
Harry's now selling the doctor's book.
Trauma is not what happens to us, actually.
Again, this is what it looks like.
As a result of what happens.
This is
So
the
trauma is the wound, not the event. So the trauma wasn't that I was handed to a stranger to save my life in Nazi-occupied Hungary as a Jewish infant. The trauma was what I made that mean, which is that I was being abandoned.
Their two books are on the mantle.
What I experienced myself as being abandoned, and who gets abandoned? Somebody who's not worthy. So the wound that I sustained was the self-belief in my lack of worthiness, which then I tried to compensate for by becoming this really important doctor.
Tabitha, I'll find out.
And it's addictive and it's endless. It leaves me not paying attention to my kids because I'm too busy trying to prove my importance in the world. So that's the trauma, and that's what shows up decades later. But to come back to you, young man, there's depression that you've experienced.
Yeah. So small, short
how much
bouts.
more?
Again, grateful, actually,
That's
weirdly, for the experience, because I can understand
Ends it.
other people, friends, whoever it is that's experiencing it or going through it. Not that I'm a professional advisor to any of these people, but to be able to have that understanding of what they're going through though it's always unique to that individual, I actually couldn't ask for more. It was horrible at the time, but I was also really grateful. It was very short.
You can empathize.
I can empathize with it, yeah, hugely.
Now again,
Which, by the way, is also, there's a disadvantage to that.
yeah,
Once you start feeling everybody else's
it's a bit too much.
it's a bit too much. And that was a huge part of my life where at the beginning I had this shield up.
Yeah.
And I was numb to my own feelings,
Yes.
but also numb to other people's.
Yeah.
And then the moment that sort of like the bottle went, and all the bubbles of emotions came out and started, rattling off the walls and everything else. I was like, well, I need to regulate this. I need to control this. And my therapist said, just imagine yourself in a glass jar. You're in the glass jar, and you decide, you choose what bounces off the side, and you accept and make a choice of what you want to allow to come in. I was like, that is easier said than done.
Yeah, it takes a lot of consciousness.
It takes a lot of consciousness.
You got
especially
10
when you're
minutes
in a room
left.
with hundreds of people, and you're going around meeting all these people, and people
And everybody's telling you their story.
everyone's telling you their story, and you are hugely empathetic. Sorry, back to this.
No, but that's okay. It's fine. That's all
Oh, that
part
was
of
a
the
weird look.
experience. Depression, by the way, again, this so-called genetic disease, I don't see it that way. What does it mean to depress something? It's the push is difference. And we push down our emotions when it's not safe to feel them. Which wasn't in your family.
And how do you feel about medication when it comes to depression?
Good question. I've taken it myself, and it's helped me. I haven't taken it for decades. I don't need it anymore because the brain can develop new circuits.
So you took it for a moment in your life?
I took it for a certain period of time, and it
Period.
was only after I took medication that I realized how depressed I'd be. It's like even I don't have to feel this way. Now, I think the problem with medication is just that, but sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That's a given.
It's really because
we're all in the medical profession and the psychiatric practice these days. That's pretty much all they do is hand out pills. They don't deal with the trauma that's underlying the depression. So the medications can certainly help, and in some cases they can be life-saving. But I think we overuse them, and I think we use them for too long. And I read an article in the New York Times recently about a 17-year-old.
I think they were already selected because when I bought the ticket yesterday, they said submit questions. I don't know.
About your post-traumatic stress.
Wait, select
And
the
you also
question. Absolutely. This is a script.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not.
This is an info commercial.
Yeah,
This is not an.
It's getting to the
I
end.
see them, they tell me that they've been diagnosed with PTSD, and I said that rolls off the tongue so well
Yeah.
for so many people.
Yeah, don't buy the book.
What I've
Don't.
seen in you
They're
6
selling
months ago
therapy
to now,
in the
Yeah,
book.
don't buy
it's
the
not a
book.
disorder. This is an injury, and also it didn't feel great when I was told by a therapist, you got PTSD. I said, I don't feel as I've got a disorder. If you told me that I had an injury, then you're inspiring me to heal myself.
Exactly.
So this again, language is so much of this.
And again,
They're basically. He's just basically spewing what therapists tell
This is
everybody.
a scam.
I would say there are more people who have experienced depression than not at some point in their life.
And again, if you can see these not as disorders, but as normal responses to abnormal circumstances, it gives a totally different approach to dealing with them.
And there's a lot of abnormal stuff going on in the world right now.
There's a lot of it. You also dabbled, I don't think you were an addict, but you also dabbled with substances, and
Oh,
they did something for you. Like sometimes you use cocaine, you use marijuana, alcohol. What did they do for you that you wanted at the time?
The three, well, I'm not going to break them down, but certainly the first one you mentioned, that didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It was more, a social thing, I guess, trying to
It gave you a sense of belonging.
It gave me a sense of belonging for sure.
Cocaine gives you a sense of belonging.
cocaine.
It made me feel different to the way that I was feeling, which was kind of the point.
Yeah.
Marijuana is different. That actually did really help me. Alcohol is certainly more of a social thing. I couldn't believe how when I was feeling this deep anxiety in my life, especially when I had something to do the next day early, and I was at a dinner party and people would all be drinking and I wasn't the one drinking, I would feel left out of the conversation to the point where it was like, if you're going to have a drink, leave. I was like, okay, I'll leave. And I started to realize, wow, is this the way the world is? Where, you know, if
Spoiled,
you, for whatever reason,
rich
if you don't
boy
drink when you didn't
problems.
want to have a drink that night, that there seems to be this group peer pressure.
Good thing he had a bodyguard who could
Because
take
I
him
think
home every
since
night.
some people,
Crazy.
in my circumstances, you know, have a few drinks and then they're worried that if I'm sober, that I'm going to judge them or they're going to embarrass themselves. So that was a whole thing.
I know when I get
But
drunk
then
with
the
my
other
friends,
part
I
of
worry
the
about the sober ones
Ayahuasca,
judging me.
Yeah.
psychedelics.
Stop judging me.
Stop judging me, guys. I'm drunk.
We should do a sign of that. Stop judging me. I'm wasted.
Yeah. Judging me, I'm sober.
Stop judging me, guys. Stop
judging me. I'm gonna drink so you'll stop judging me because I'm so sober.
Don't
I'm too
judge me.
sober, so I'm gonna start drinking because you're judging me.
Stop judging me and drink.
A lot faster than I thought it would. But let's talk about healing, okay? Because that's a big thing that people are looking for, and that's been a theme in your life as well. And reading your book,
Guys, we're gonna do a video shortly on this.
No, we're gonna answer their. No, we're gonna stay
No,
on
no, no,
live.
no, I know, but
we are. We're gonna stay on live.
No,
and we're gonna.
no, I
answer
know.
their Q&A. Yeah,
I
so don't
said
worry.
shortly after
No,
this.
I'm not gonna do it.
We're not doing a video?
I don't know.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's necessary. For so much of my life, I frowned upon it. It was never discussed.
Yeah.
And then I started to find out about it, and other people talked about it, and I always approached it with judgment, or oh, there's something wrong with you.
Is he not gonna bring up heads up
I wish.
Heads
that
up
I
or
had
better up?
Not
Better
better
up.
up. No, heads together.
offered
What's
to me
that?
in my life much
It's
sooner. And I would always encourage people to not wait until they are in fetal position on their kitchen floor before seeking out some form of therapy.
I've been on the
But
fetal
also that you,
position
as professional
on the
therapists,
kitchen
of course,
floor.
It's
but
almost done.
friends and family, the moment that you start talking about your struggles,
Yeah.
that can be a form of therapy as well as being in nature, which I have relied on so much in my life.
Which is my next point. Is nature seems to be a really healing force in your life. And you just talk about therapy.
For me, nature gives me the ability to be free.
Yeah.
To be connected with nature is something that, again, that I've
What's
always
It's the
relied
thing
on.
he started with his
And
brother
as
and
much as
Kate.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was a kid.
That's what it
And
is.
now it's something that I instill in my two kids.
Heads
And make sure
together.
that they are, you know, being in the outdoors as much as possible. I remember talking about lockdown and how grateful I was to be able to have outdoor space, to be able to hear the birds, to be able to go for a walk, and how different it is, and how much of a struggle it is for other people who were stuck in these huge apartment blocks and just not being able. Like, nature for all of us is so key.
That's the problem.
Amner Hall, Kensington Gardens didn't have grass or trees.
Meditation, you mentioned, is that
Windsor?
I just felt so bad for the people who have to live in apartments.
Yeah.
I do not do it enough.
Good thing I don't.
Good thing I don't have to live in an apartment. Don't judge me.
Don't judge
Don't
me.
judge me.
Well, yeah, I think it was my wife.
He
My
just said my
wife.
therapist, my wife.
Well, she said, I don't have time to meditate. And the person that she was with
Oh,
said,
here we go.
"People who
There,
don't have time
this
to
is the
meditate,
meditation
meditate
thing.
twice a day." So that kind of squashed that argument. But look, again, I think, you know, you've got someone sitting here who'd been brought up within a system, within an institution. The last thing on my mind or anybody's mind was meditation. And yet my life has changed so much that I know that it is one of the tools in the toolbox that I can rely on, that can give me a sense of peace and that ability to be able to see all the chaos around, and rather than being in that chaos, extract myself and put myself on a hill and observe and watch. You can't block it out. It's always going to be there.
So you're not the chaos, you're observing it.
I'm just trying my best to observe it, and that again it's constant work in progress. But you know, anybody out there that knocks it or criticizes it probably has never tried it.
Dramatic.
And it's not for everybody.
Let's just sit
Speaking
here
of
and
which,
relax.
psychedelics. So, in its infinite wisdom, the Sunday Times last week in London had an article about me, and they mentioned that I worked with Ayahuasca, which is a Peruvian plant. They said that the Canadian government threatened to arrest me on Sunday Times. I was never threatened with arrest. Thank you very much.
There was probably a larger attempt to try and discredit you before this.
Well, yeah, so anyway,
It's all
they said that
conspiracy
Ayahuasca makes
to
you
get
fall
me
into
and Megan.
hallucinations. Yeah, you purge with it. Sometimes it's a good thing. You get rid of a lot of stuff. It doesn't give you hallucinations.
Harry
Sometimes it
just
gives
said-
Thank you, Megan. Mary.
It's
Sorry,
a-
I can't read without my glasses.
Glasses.
You know that you've seen the hallucination. You think it's really happening. You know, I've learned a lot from psychedelics. I don't think they're the panacea or the answer for everything, but I also
So Harry basically just said, hey, they're probably going to discredit you guys.
So, and at some point,
They're probably going to discredit you guys or discredit you because you're associated with me.
how do you put it? That they have you define
Typical
reality for yourself?
narcissist.
Can you explain what they do?
It was the cleaning of the windscreen, the cleaning of the windshield,
Yeah.
the removal of life's filters.
Yeah.
Just as much as on Instagram,
Yeah.
so many of these kids are like one.
Megan doesn't know anything about filters and
Filters
Instagram.
removed it all for me and brought me a sense of relaxation, release, comfort, a lightness that I managed to hold on to for a period of time, but the moment I'm back in the chaos, it kind of then sort of dissipates. But, you know, again, for me, I started doing it recreationally and then started to realize how good it was for me.
Is he talking about psychedelics?
He's talking about meditation.
Oh,
Whatever's gonna
I would say
sell-
that
Can I
it
say-
is one of the
No,
fundamental
I want to hear.
How
parts
come
of
you
my
can
life.
talk, but I
Stop.
can't?
I need to hear.
Changed
But-
me.
Stop.
I need to hear
And
too.
helped me deal with the traumas and the pains of the past.
But they allow you to, in the proper setting with the right guidance, and that has to be really emphasized. Because they can also be harmful in the wrong setting.
But also that unlocking so much of what we have suppressed.
That's the whole point. They remove the membrane from the unconscious, so they actually get to see what we're carrying inside.
But that's why you need to do it with a professional.
Exactly.
Because you don't know what's going to come up.
Like Harry, he's a professional.
You're selling it.
Trauma of our childhood. But I would say 8-9 times out of 10, there's going to be something that pops up that surprises you.
Yeah.
That you need some support there. Otherwise, that's a lot of
Twin fight.
childhood suppressed stuff.
Yeah, who won that twin fight?
Absolutely, well, I agree with you. And
She's allowed to talk. I
both
can't
as an
talk.
individual from my own healing, and also as somebody who's facilitated psychedelic experiences for others. I wouldn't want to do without it. Not that I want to really put all my eggs into that basket, but it's an important.
He's pushing psychedelics. He's pushing drugs.
Nancy, what? How did she win?
Yeah, I've been married 53 years now.
Wait,
Wait,
awesome.
But how did Nancy win?
I always win.
For my own growth and healing.
How is that even possible?
This is the end.
Can you stop hitting me?
I'm not hitting you.
You keep going like this. That's nudging me.
It's the end. It's the end.
Oh yeah, is he going to talk about nothing? But
Because my wife saved me. You know, I was stuck in this world.
Yeah.
And she was from a different world and helped sort of draw me out of that.
she's from a different world. She's from Hollywood.
Oh, she's from a different world.
She's from a different planet.
Without me seeing it for myself.
Yeah.
As we know, it's one of the, it's hard to change. It's almost impossible to change other people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you've got to start with changing yourself.
CB.
Allow that growth to happen. But yes, my partner is an exceptional human being, and I'm eternally grateful for the wisdom and the space that she's been able to give to me.
Well, there's an incident.
She made me go on a pap walk.
You lose your temper, and she says to you, "You can't do that with me. I will not be with a person who does that. I will not have children with a person who does that.
Oh
You have to figure out
God.
what's going on inside yourself in my life."
She gave him an ultimatum.
She had those embryos
Said, I'm not
frozen
gonna
before
have
they.
kids with you if you don't do this, this, and this. If you don't leave your family and you don't leave this.
So relationships,
The
not just
UK,
but also with people who
racism.
see you and accept you. Such an important part of healing, I think.
And I needed that.
Yeah.
I
Thank
really
you.
needed that. I needed that pushback. I needed that moment of, again, scared of losing him.
I'm going to talk about the pushing of drugs and psychedelics, how bad that is.
Did you Is it because that was how you were brought up?
We just
Or
spent
that you've
5 minutes saying
experienced or
don't
seen
take
or
drugs,
heard,
take our
No,
therapy.
you heard the
other
end
people
of
in
the
your life
That was
said something like
meditation.
that?
No, it
And
wasn't. No,
then it was
Dr.
like a
Montague
light bulb
said
moment.
it.
It was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. Not an excuse.
No.
Just
An
an understanding of how these things manifest themselves and how we are so much a product of our own upbringing. And the two of us, have had our own stuff, with our families.
Well, look, when you woke up, we both come from broken families. It's not accidental that you found each other, I don't think. And just I think people always find somebody
Broken homes.
with the same level of woundedness in some ways, with whom they can now grow together.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's the idea. Well,
He does just want an
this one-
excuse.
Mentioning Megan, your wife, brings up one more question. You told me in our previous conversation, this is only the second time I've talked, that you got a rapid immersion in understanding racism and inequality recently.
They're talking
There's
about
an
Megan and
article in the New York Times
racism.
last week that
Stop hitting me.
They can hear it.
Black
Stop.
women giving birth in the States, or black babies being born, have a higher risk of death
Oh.
just for being black.
Oh.
This is even regardless of economic position.
It's
Racism
true.
itself,
But she's not.
What does it have to do with Megan?
Yeah, that's actually a true
it
statement, but
also
it has nothing to do with
inflames the
Megan.
body,
That's
causes
crazy.
inflammation in the body. It causes all manner of disease. What have you been able to learn about racism in your short immersion course?
Oh man.
I had a crash course,
Yeah.
and to experience
Hurry
to experience what my wife,
up.
then girlfriend, then wife, has experienced, especially within the UK, was pretty shocking.
Yeah.
I was surprised, and I was quite naive. I think what people perhaps don't understand that it is the pain that it causes to an individual is huge.
Yeah.
But then the pain that it causes to society is also huge.
It's
Immense.
Yeah.
And for me, I made my own mistakes.
Yeah.
In the past, which I talk about and which I own and acknowledge.
Yeah.
And in a weird way,
He's absolved.
I'm grateful for those experiences
Oh God.
because I had to take accountability for it, and I had to grow from it. I had to learn from it because I didn't know it before.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I had this unconscious bias inside of me.
Just said unconscious bias.
In my own country, an indigenous woman has 6 times the rate of rheumatoid arthritis than that of anybody else. Yeah. Indigenous women in Canada make up 5% of the female population, 50% of the jail population. Yeah. So when you say about the harm and the suffering on the social scale, it's immense.
But again, we have to it's amazing because the symptom of that is where people who will use the narrative to their own way, certain people who are white, to say, well, that's them causing all the problems. And you look back to the root cause of the problem.
Asking why are they
People that are white are the ones doing it.
Well,
Unlike Mate and Harry, who are not white.
But it's time to come to questions that our audience has sent in.
We're getting the questions.
From
Finally, we're getting
US,
questions.
UK and Canada and other countries.
Pre-approved.
I will read you the first 2 questions because they're alike. Okay?
Because they're what?
They're alike. They're related to each other.
Okay.
The first 2 questions. This is from Emily from Oklahoma in the US. Acknowledging trauma for one's childhood can be very heavy. What are some ways that have helped you move through despair and into healing? That's the first question. The second one, has anything surprised you about sharing your early childhood trauma in such a vulnerable and public way?
Okay, no one asked that question.
Nobody asked
No
that
one on
question.
this planet would ever ask that question.
Especially from
You should
Oklahoma.
go. You should go. What do you think about being evicted from Frogmore? That should have been the question.
Is a result of
Can you stop hitting me? I'm not hitting you. I'm accidentally doing that when I pick that up.
Sometimes I'm surprised and sometimes I'm not. It is the same group of react the same way when someone in a position like myself talk about their trauma. And as we've already discussed, I'm not a victim in this.
Yeah.
But there's almost like a balancing act. The more that they criticize, the more they come, the more I feel the need to share, be vulnerable, and talk about it. Because what I've always worried about is that I found a way to be able to look around, well, firstly ignore, but also look around the criticism and the abuse. And what worries me is that there are other people out there, perhaps kids, young people, whoever it is, who see.
Oh, just paused.
Yeah, they're probably Megan's in the back ruining the audio because she's like, oh, he's got to answer on his own stuff.
I'm very surprised by the answer because I mean I know it's true, but have you also not had a whole sort of gratitude for?
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna get to that. Okay. But that to me has been something that I've always worried about.
Yeah.
And that's why when it comes, it's almost like a return.
Yeah.
I think it's really necessary, and I'll keep on doing it because I don't want people out there to be afraid.
It's how we talk.
The way they see certain reactions to me to stop. But the whole point of this is to encourage other people to have their own conversations with families, friends, colleagues.
He's selling it.
The gratitude and the love and support that I've felt has been extraordinary. As well as my editor strongly suggested that I look at the Amazon reviews, of which there are now over 45,000, and some people have written essays.
Who do you think wrote those reviews?
People's own take on my story.
This is so boring.
What it means to them has been humbling and also extraordinary. Yeah. And it makes it all worth it. Yeah. So, because it is, we all know it's taken by being so open and vulnerable.
Yeah, poor Nancy.
But I've always believed and always hoped that if someone in my position with that on the side, it couldn't feel so strong in that vulnerability, and that's hopefully what I continue to prove. Because there is a point where I actually enjoy it. I enjoy being vulnerable because I know that it's going to help other people. And it's like I can take it.
How are you being vulnerable? How can you take it? You don't address any hard-hitting questions. You go on Stephen Colbert. How can you take it?
Yeah, I'll weigh in if I have.
Go on Megyn Kelly. Go on Piers Morgan. Then we'll believe you.
What are some ways you have practiced self-compassion as you work through your trauma? This is from Julia from North Carolina.
These are not real people. Okay.
Go ahead and practice self-compassion.
Have I practiced self-compassion? Yeah. Yes. I think I get a huge amount of healing by helping others. Mm-hmm.
Which is, by the way, one of the healing methods we didn't talk about. It's service to others, and I think it's the theme in your book as well.
It's a theme of my book because it's a theme of my life.
Yeah.
I don't my purpose, but certainly the way that I was brought up, the system, my life as destined before me, I guess.
You're getting distracted.
But creating the Invictus Games and hearing other people's stories and being able to understand, wow, there's elements to your story that align completely with mine. I'd never known about this before. Yeah. But being able to create that platform for them.
You guys want to know what Nancy just said?
As families, I took a huge amount of healing out of that as well. And I think that was a huge lesson for me. Because then I look at the world and go, wow, if we all have compassion for each other, which, by the way, as the world gets more complicated, as people's lives become harder, it is, correct me if I'm wrong, it becomes harder to show compassion for others when your own life is so difficult.
That's right.
And I'm not talking about my life, I'm talking about so many people out there who struggle to make ends meet.
When people are doing survival mode, it's hard for them to be compassionate.
And who are doing double hours. and doing everything they can to have the consciousness to be there, present for their kids, while having to literally survive.
Exactly. No, it's true. And, and the world is getting tougher.
So yes, I think I'm still practicing the self-compassion. That the expression of always put your mask on before helping others is so true. I never did that. I experienced burnout because I was like, I just have to help everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he was doing.
I'm sure.
When he was banging models.
Yeah.
I gotta help everybody, guys. And don't judge me because I'm sober.
Don't judge me.
You saw what he did to that horse when he played polo. He's so compassionate.
I often say that there's no such thing as compassion fatigue. What there is
Fatigue?
not being compassionate towards yourself. When it's just going outwards and outwards and outwards, that's what we get tired of. So there's to be self-compassion there. And my only addition to your answer would be is if you want to learn how to practice self-compassion, notice when you're not being compassionate towards yourself.
The audio is bad. I know it's bad. The whole audio on their end is bad on the thing. Sorry.
It's on Zoom.
It's on. They're doing it through Zoom. They're doing it through Zoom.
With my understanding, is the first thing that comes away when life comes hard.
Why do we have to watch
it?
it?
It should be a priority, but it's the first thing. Time for ourselves is the first thing that comes away.
Well, not only that, it's also true that self-compassion is the first casualty of trauma. Because when a child is suffering, children are narcissistic, not in a negative sense, but in the pristine sense of the word, that they think it's all about them. So when bad things are happening, they think it's because I'm bad. But my mother gives me to a stranger to save my life. I must not be worthy. I'm worthy of being abandoned. That's the wound. So that self-compassion is the first casualty of trauma. Well, somebody from Canada, Liza from Elmira, Ontario, wants to know. It's a great question, I think.
What's her name, sorry?
Liza. Do you think that grief and joy can coexist? If so, do you feel that the more joy you feel, the more sad you also feel? That's a great question. What do you make of it?
Well said, Anna.
Okay.
Was the question to me or you?
It's just a question.
Okay.
Harry's confused on who the questions.
I can answer it from my perspective.
I would say that one of the
Harry's already confused.
first impacts of trauma.
Once you go off script, he gets confused.
Yeah, it's true. He gets frazzled.
Because when we're being traumatized, feeling our emotions is too painful, too threatening. We can't endure it. So we disconnect from our feelings, especially from our grief. But there's no accuracy in that suppression. Once you start suppressing emotions, we lose everything. So we also lose our capacity for joy. So it's absolutely true, Liza, that the more you feel the grief, the more your capacity for joy will return. Because they're both natural feelings. Our brains are actually wired for both grief and joy. And when we recover the capacity to feel the one, we certainly recover the capacity to feel the other. That's my answer.
I can't talk about it. I can't beat it. Not that this is a competition. I think
Yes, it is. We're trying to be perfect.
How do I reset it? What if I reset it and then it doesn't come back up? Because every time I reset it, I have to then put the password in again.
Isn't this almost over?
It's almost over, guys. Just get through, like,
You're not missing much. You can't hear it.
Yeah.
He's whining and selling his book.
2-3 days, families will literally roll around in the sand around a campfire and just purge.
Oh,
Let it all
God.
out.
Just end this
And I think the
monstrosity.
more that we can not judge ourselves by what society expects or thinks of us, that if we can grieve, that we all can, it's a very human experience. We have to grieve, and the more that we can grieve, the more joy that we will probably end up feeling. But as I said earlier, there is an element of grief in me from losing my mum at such a young age that I almost want to hold on to. But I've been able to turn that into a positive as opposed to the grief.
oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Me reset for you. Got it.
Crushing weight.
There's a friend of mine who's a psychologist. His name is Gordon Neufeld. Gordon and I wrote a parenting book together. based on the
Oh
book.
God,
and
they're
it said,
selling another
"You shall
book.
be saved in an ocean of tears."
Yeah.
No, this is a great question here. I think it's quite universal. This is from Janet Joy from Brooklyn. From your experience, what do you think it will take to eliminate the stigma of mental illness?
Oh my God.
God.
Why would you ask him
More
that?
conversation.
Yeah.
More and more
Questions
conversation.
suck.
Less of us and them.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all on the spectrum,
Yes.
and I think we slide
Yeah.
up and down depending on what is happening in our life.
Yeah.
But I think the sooner we all accept that
Again,
we're all
this
on
is
the spectrum,
setting.
that we all have our own stuff to deal with,
Yeah.
the labeling is not helpful.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like, I've been diagnosed, now I know what it is.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to this whole thing of what has happened to you rather than what is wrong with you.
Exactly.
And therefore, the more we talk about it, the more people share in your own environment, but also the more, leaders, public figures, I think the more that we can all just acknowledge this and have conversations about it.
Yeah.
And know that the people who push back or fight against it, that is probably based in their own fear.
Yeah, their own trauma.
So hopefully that answers.
Yeah, and I always say along with what you said is that the diagnoses are not explanations, they're descriptions.
You got it.
And they may be helpful, but they don't explain. The explanation is, what happened to you. There's no trauma.
And I think as time goes on,
Cringy.
communities that we have lost because of the online world, because of social media, I think those communities are going to come back.
Here he goes. He's going to blame
Exist
social media.
perhaps online, but they're coming back based on
Toxic
those
social
shared
media.
experiences of anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, all of these things, especially. I really think that communities are being built based on the pain and the suffering that so many people
In
have
some ways, they
This is pain and suffering.
I
This
would
is
say
like
this- I say this as a physician,
globalization.
because of the failure of my profession to recognize the impact of traumatic experience on people's lives. The average medical student to this day in most countries barely gets a single lecture on trauma, if you can believe it. Which is why I could go into the psychology of the medical profession, and I do in
Please
this book, The
don't.
Myth of Normal, but I don't want to take the time here. But doctors fundamentally are trained to see the mind as separate from the body, and to see the mind and the body as separate from life experience. So they're trained in biological pathology, but not in all the connections between these things. So they don't understand trauma. A lot of physicians, when they see somebody depressed, they think they're just dealing with somebody with a brain disease. They don't get that they're dealing with somebody.
And then they'll just give you a pill or a packet of pills, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but in this country, they get.
If they don't talk about South
paid
Park,
extra, don't they?
I am asking
Well,
for my money back.
Is that maybe that's
A lot
I'm
of it is
suing
a
them.
60%.
Yeah.
I'm suing Random House.
System, but a lot of it is rooted in the very ideology of modern medicine. And modern medicine, for all its great achievements, is not just science, it's also an ideology with its blind spots.
Oh my
It's got
God.
huge blind spots. But you know what?
maybe a sensitive question, but can I ask then? So, what is your feeling of the difference between a drug that is manufactured out of chemicals
Yeah.
compared to a natural drug medicine that exists from Earth?
Mushrooms, weed. Did you stop screaming?
Drugs
Sorry.
that are
God.
pharmaceutically
It's like right in my
designed
ear.
may be helpful. We've talked about that. But they're not designed to deal with the underlying issues.
The root cause of the problem.
They're not, sorry,
They're not the root cause.
they don't deal with the root causes, just the symptoms. They deal with symptoms. So I found that helpful for my depression for a while, so I'm grateful for that. But they don't deal with why I was depressed. No,
They're just
okay, ayahuasca is not a drug. The drug, you're meant to take it for a long time, or sometimes for the rest of your life, to control your symptoms. Medicines that come from the earth, you're not meant to take them forever to control your symptoms. You're meant to take them to transform your experience, your understanding, so you don't have to take drugs. So there's a huge difference between traditional medicinal practices and modern drugs. A lot of people don't understand that. They think, why would you take a drug like ayahuasca? It's not a drug, it's a medicine. You're not going to be taking it every day for the rest of your life. You might only want to do it once. The idea of medicinal practices and agents is to promote healing. Drugs to control symptoms. There's a huge difference.
This is the worst advice you can give people with mental issues is to take
The drugs away.
take psychedelics.
Oh no! But they're saying
without a doctor.
No, they're saying doctors
Yeah.
hand out,
Yeah.
antidepressants.
Yeah.
Next question. And I think you partially answered this already, but I think it's an
Sorry, that's it. You made the point though, right? Because in that book is knowledge.
Yeah.
In that book is knowledge from a professional, right?
Right.
And you want as many people as possible to read that.
I want the whole world to be there.
You want the whole
Just as you want the whole world to read your book.
They both want the whole world to read each other's book.
They're promoting creepy. That is so cringe.
To raise our 3 children to kind, empathetic, and humble
Oh.
humans.
This and where are they from?
Thanks for asking. This is from Lindsay and Tim in Hawthorne, California.
It's a made-up
Our
person.
goal is to raise our 3 children
Made-up
to be
questions.
kind, empathetic, and humble humans. What do you think is the number one on the list to ensure that we're successful in this? So what's the number one thing?
Love.
Yes, thank you.
Love. It has to be love.
Why didn't he
Love
say
them.
freedom?
Hold them,
And
respect them.
let them be themselves.
Yeah. So,
But yes, there has to be rules.
Yeah.
But one thing that my wife and I, especially with the children, we always talk about it is like if they have a moment of frustration.
Yeah.
To allow them to have that,
exactly.
and then talk to them about it afterwards, as opposed to us adults where
And punish you.
we don't.
If you're angry, we're gonna punish you.
No, when they start, it's like, do not do that. It's like,
Yeah.
that's not helping. Like, more of us as adults should be encouraged to have these outbursts, even if it isn't your pillow.
Yeah.
Who was it who said that they daily used to scream into their pillow for 11 minutes?
I don't know what it was.
I can't remember who it was either. Anyway, that is a practice that I would love to be able to get
Thanks,
into. I think
Tabitha.
it's so important. But yeah, kids having those outbursts,
Yeah.
I think is part of growing up.
It's natural.
He's mentioning the kids right
And
now.
love and that energy that you have in the house.
He's telling us that he doesn't discipline his children and he lets them have outbursts.
Well,
If you have the ability to be
In
able
a
to
nutshell.
take it to a different room.
Yeah.
Do not have those disagreements, arguments, whatever it is. Like my wife and I don't have those. I don't know whether you do.
do not take parenting advice from Harry and
The idea of having
Meghan.
that in front
Oh
of
no!
Ever.
Ever.
Again, going back to your point earlier, I assume that my parents probably had a lot of those in front of me.
Yeah.
That maybe is where it comes from, but
He's talking about
that's not a
Charles
good
and
idea.
Diana.
They know.
Not
Fighting.
only that, the more sensitive you are, which I think you are and were, the more you absorb the energy of the parents, even if they don't act it out.
Well, that's the thing, the invisible part of it.
That's right.
Your kids pick up on your energy more than you will ever know. And when it comes to, if you asked me about energy,
Yeah.
7, 8, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
And when I had my first child,
Yeah.
I realized what was going on.
Is that?
And it is all about energy. And I would sometimes have to remove myself from the room, take a deep breath, let it out, and literally try and change my whole energy and get back in there. And all of a sudden, he's falling asleep in my arms, and I can put him down.
My wife's watching this and she's saying to herself, "What can my husband do?" This is an important one, I think. This is from Angie in
Yeah,
Surrey,
good.
UK.
Sandwich Paddington,
What
good
would you say
point.
to Angie, yeah. What would you say to men and boys who are struggling with their mental health about the value of attending counseling or therapy to enable them to feel more confident and comfortable about giving it a go? Because men in this culture are so often enjoined to suck it up, to be strong, to man it up, and
He talks about toxic masculinity.
and a lot of the veterans who come back with post-traumatic issues, they really find out they had to open up and become vulnerable. So what would you say to men like that?
I mean, I've really hoped that, in sharing so much of my story and my process and my healing journey, that it would help others in similar positions or, men out there.
He should move to Oregon.
boys
We can
out
attest to
there,
that. You can. Drugs are
perhaps deal with
legal
their
here.
society or their
Legal in
environment.
California.
no. Like you can carry
to
crack on you, and they won't arrest you.
I
That's
feel
not-
better now
No, it
that
is
I've
100%
Yeah,
true.
crack is legal in
It
Florida.
is. It's little if you have a certain amount.
That's
Again,
crazy.
I've managed to find vulnerability, a strength in vulnerability, and I believe that exists for all of us.
Yes.
And that is contrary to what we are led to believe.
We won't get in trouble for streaming this. We will
it's scary.
get in trouble if we show you the video.
I want to be the best.
You would
I
get
wanna
in
be the best
trouble
version
if
of
we
myself.
showed you this.
I want to be the best husband. I also want to be the best dad. And the best dad that I know that I can be means being vulnerable while also being strong.
And the penalty if we do get caught is we won't be able to go to future random house events, which is a risk I'm willing to take.
Our issues, our emotions as men is needed more now than it's ever been needed. So I will think that is how I'm going to spend the rest of my life, and I hope that other men will.
Again, this is the setting, guys.
Thank you. 2 more questions.
2 more questions.
Oh no.
First, an easy one, and
Sucks.
then a very difficult one. The easy
So
one
you can
is,
see Spare in the
which
back.
is the one footprint you wish to leave behind one day? I mean, what is your life purpose? If once you're gone, what would you wish to?
Well, we know the carbon footprint will be awfully big.
Can I throw that back at you first? This is a hard one.
Yeah.
That's a hard question.
I was joking, but
Yeah.
well,
This is
for
hard.
me, it's that people should become free. That people are free.
Mm-hmm.
That they're free politically, free economically.
We're talking about the environment
and
now,
also free
climate
from
control.
the
Yeah, carbon footprint.
I said it as a joke.
Right, but that's what he's
You
asking.
only said the footprint, like your legacy, and then I joked. I said,
Oh,
no,
I thought he was
it's-
talking
Until
about
we get
carbon
conscious,
footprint.
until we do the therapy, until we get to know ourselves. That's so freedom.
It's never too early for
I
wine.
guess this is connected to freedom, but
Do you know what we're watching right now?
Yeah, it's because of what we're watching. It's never too early for alcohol.
Yeah.
Or do not allow fear to control you,
Which is freedom.
which is freedom.
Now, this is a really tough question. It's the last one. Okay.
Oh, God, thank you.
That's all we have time for.
Hallelujah.
As a royal child, did you get to roam the castles freely? And did you find any hidden trapdoors?
Okay, no Frogmore, no South Park.
That's on the assumption that there are trapdoors all over.
That's
castles.
it, guys.
There's something as kids, it was an
It's your
adventure running around that kind of a place. You know,
Yeah.
what an experience.
An experience his kids will never get.
Things to investigate, but I guess it's weird when you're brought up as a child in that environment.
Yeah.
You think that is normal.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Nancy.
It's not normal.
It is normal. It's normal for you.
So
It is normal.
What's normal?
Yeah, what is normal?
His mansion in California?
Yeah, that's normal.
Is that normal?
Montecito is normal?
Guess.
As you pull the book and then all of a sudden,
I mean, Archie
Because
and
he
Lily,
felt bad for people that have a
Archie and Lily, that's normal?
Mary, thank you so
Private-
much for this
That's
conversation.
it. We're done.
Okay, wait.
This was great.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm on glass number 3.
That's it, guys. Not one question about South Park.
Wow.
Not one. That was it. That was it. $37 for that piece of crap. All it was an ad for Spare. It was an ad for the doctor's Mate's book, and it was a cry fest for Harry.
Okay, so we're going to just go over just a couple things. And if you guys want, Stephanie's going to be in charge of answering the comments. So you be in charge of that, and I'm going to talk. How's that, Steph? Can you do that? Or do you want to?
Yeah, I can do
Okay,
that.
can you-
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for
I'm not
joining us.
stupid.
Okay, wait. Okay, so he started off by saying that, oh, thank you, CB. Stephanie, please just focus.
Okay.
Okay. Just for a second. That's all I'm asking. Okay.
Okay.
Read the comments, answer if you can. Okay.
Thanks,
Can-
CB.
I didn't like the part where he said his grandma never hugged him. I
don't
have
like
like a
that.
million
He started
things.
with that.
He started with that. That really bothered me.
He said his grandma never hugged him. When he went off to be in the army, when he came back from his tour, his dad
like put
his shoulder, whatever.
His brother kind of hugged him.
He said he just had no love.
Yeah, there was like no love and da da da. That I didn't like that. I didn't like how his grandma, who is gone now and can't even defend herself. Oh, I guess it would help if we brought the mic back over here.
I think we're loud enough, dude.
I know, but if we're not,
I think we're loud enough. You were screaming in my ear the entire time.
okay. I didn't like that. I didn't like how
Okay, we didn't like
she
that
can't
part.
defend herself. So I never like it when people talk. Okay. And he's saying he doesn't want his kids to have his trauma. Well, guess what? Oh, thank you, Mariana. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Oh, and I like that little dancing
Emoji.
Is it a bear or a cat? Or I love it.
Looks
It's
like
so
a fox.
cute. Thank you.
Foxy.
I didn't like
Foxy
that. I didn't like
lady.
how he then said, well, he doesn't want his kids to have trauma. Well, what does that mean if Dr. Mate said all kids have trauma?
Yeah.
What does that mean? If the kids are already going to have trauma, what is Harry doing? I mean, I can tell you this right now. Them doing pat walks in San Vicente bungalows.
That's blinking. It's blinking.
Can you guys hear us? Can you guys hear
I'm
us?
sure they can. People in
I think I had it on mute.
Thailand
For
can
a
hear
second.
us screaming.
You can. Okay, good. I didn't like, okay, so if you didn't
You're
hear that,
talking
I
very
didn't like
loud.
how his grandma said that, I mean, he said his grandma never hugged him, but I
Okay,
didn't
we
like,
got that.
yeah, his kids, he's not going to let his kids have trauma. Well, I can tell you this right now. His kids are going to have trauma if their parents keep doing pap walks at the bungalows the way they did the
Yeah,
other night.
San
That's
Vicente bungalow.
embarrassing. His father writing a book, trashing the entire family. Now, these kids are
The
going to have
only
trauma.
reason they went to the bungalows was because they came out with a statement the day after.
They
so they had to be
leaked.
seen.
They leaked that they got evicted from Frogmore that day, so they needed to be seen.
They had
as
to be
well.
seen
Yeah.
as the happy married
Yeah.
couple.
Oh, we're happy. Ugh. His kids are already going to be screwed because
We don't
they
know
don't
that.
have-
I don't like talking
well,
about kids, man.
I'm gonna say as far as trauma goes,
Yeah.
they don't have any family in their life. They don't have grandparents that they could be having.
Yeah,
They don't
it's
have
sad.
aunts
They really
and
don't have
uncles.
family.
They don't have cousins to grow up around. They are completely, away from family. They don't have anybody. And this whole thing is, I'm going to raise my kids normal. What does that mean? You're raising your kids in a
I don't
$14
like when people
million
use the word normal too.
Yeah,
It's
what
just-
is normal?
He's talking about the pandemic.
That's like us
and
then saying, well, unless you grew up the way we did,
You're
you
not
didn't have a
normal.
normal
I don't
life.
like that,
What does
man.
that
It's weird.
mean?
It's like he's got to be so self-righteous.
Yeah.
So what else?
He's like, he says, well, as a father, you automatically, when your kids are born, you know things. It just comes naturally to you. However, his father, for some reason, didn't know. How does he not know that
Why don't
Charles
we just
wasn't
talk to
doing his
them? Why do
best?
we have to
Okay,
talk about
all right,
ourselves? Like,
okay.
it's
Then,
boring.
well, that's why you were in charge of
I
reading it.
am.
Okay.
Stop, like, God. Yeah, what does it have to do with the price of eggs?
Yeah, he's putting a lot of trauma on. They're both putting a lot of trauma on the extended family. It's like, let the cocktails begin.
This was
It's
so
brunch.
all this was
Oh, it didn't clink because we didn't have the right. Don't worry, this is
we have
crystal.
to look at each other in the eye
Oh.
too. It's bad luck. Port. It's a sweet wine. What else
The way he
sucks?
said, Dr. Monte went to him and said to Harry, well,
Shh, gotta get the dog.
the way Dr. Mate said to Harry, well, you've gone through so much divorce, death, all this stuff. Didn't William go through all that too? I could have sworn William went through the same thing Harry went, if not more, because I heard from staff, Diana's butler and other staff that was in Kensington Palace, that William would protect Harry from the shouting,
Yeah,
from his
I
mom
heard
crying
that
in the
too.
bathroom, all that stuff. Are moon bumps normal? No, moon bumps aren't normal. They're not normal.
We have a video on that. Nancy breaks it down.
Yeah, we actually, well, a lot of people do.
And how many times did he say his book? Sorry, dogs. How many times did he use the word spare?
Oh
He
no,
kept
it
saying
was
book,
well, it was a book
book,
promo.
book,
I mean,
yeah.
it was put on by his publisher. So, what was with Dr. Mate saying he's seen The Crown?
That was so annoying. So he goes, I don't really want to talk about the drama in Buckingham Palace. I'm sick of hearing about it. He goes, I've seen The Crown.
I've seen The Crown.
So he's saying that The Crown is 100% accurate. That's what he's saying. That's what this man is a doctor. He
I
is a
don't know.
psychologist.
I don't
He
think
is
this
an author. And he literally said, I've watched The Crown, so you don't need to talk about anything, Harry. I'm not kidding. He said that.
It was
I think I
obvious.
recorded it.
It was obvious that Queen Elizabeth was very fond of him. Yes, 100%. She
loved
a
her
lot of
grandkids.
people felt bad for Harry because they did know that he was not spare, but it was funny that, I mean, he was the other brother, the younger brother. So I think
He wasn't a spare.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
We always make the joke. You and I always make that joke that I'm like the perfect one and you're the crap that was left over.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
I highly doubt they were serious. It's not like Harry was spare parts.
I don't remember ever feeling that way about Prince Andrew growing up, thinking, oh, he's Charles's spare. I never felt that way. So I don't know where he's getting this attitude. We grew up with those boys, William, anyway, because we're the same age, and it's like William and Harry. We grew up with those boys. We grew up knowing those boys, seeing them go to school the same time we were. And, it's just like, are you reading these?
Yes. Tabitha. They're talking to each other. That's cool.
Oh, okay.
What else did I not
Harry forgets a lot of things. He forgets a lot of things about his childhood. And does Harry actually think that we don't have pictures and
again,
videos of this?
Him saying that they weren't affectionate is
so
that's
weird.
Quite the reach.
And he keeps talking about my therapist. He goes, my therapist says,
selling.
Who's his therapist?
Better up.
No. But seriously, who is Harry's therapist?
Well, it's Megan. She's chirping in his ear.
No, but it really scares me that he actually does have a therapist, because this person needs to be fired.
And he talks about meditating and not wanting to take prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Just do this meditation for $39.95.
And then
you can buy this online at betterup.com.
And then he talks about how he had ADD growing up. He wasn't interested in what was going on in school.
Okay.
Things like that didn't appeal to him.
Yeah.
So, he wanted to go be in a cockpit and fly planes. Well, Harry, not a lot of people have that option who aren't good in school.
What do you say about the Army?
I know. I'm getting into that.
Okay.
Not a lot of people have the option to a lot of people have to go to school to get a job to put food on the table and make a living. He had the opportunity to do whatever he wanted, join the Army, go to Africa for a year.
But did you hear what he said about the Army? He said people that come from broken homes and trauma join the Army.
Like, that's not something that people that want to that love their country, that have pride, that's ridiculous.
Just spoiled rich boy problems.
Hi from Austria. Ooh, I love Austria. Austria. Love it there. His
Indiana Jones.
You know what? His therapist might be Doria. You might be right.
Megan's definitely in his ear.
And
he mentions Oprah in this interview. He says, well, do you remember that documentary I did with Oprah? Mentions talks about her.
Laura G. We couldn't see who was in the actual room watching.
This is what we saw.
They didn't give us the numbers. Okay, and this is why before I do this is why I know it was low, because yesterday I kept going back and forth. Like, okay,
I'll do it right
Stephanie
here, dude.
wants to do it here.
No.
I know, and then I'll tell
just
the story.
talk,
it's
man.
Fine. No, you want
They can do two things at once.
It's fine.
They can listen and look.
Stephanie, it's fine.
But they can hear you.
All right. Okay.
And they can see.
Stephanie, it's okay. I know you're getting okay. If you need to go take a walk, you're getting a little distracted.
But they can
fine.
do two things at once.
Okay. So anyway, yesterday when I was buying the ticket, it kept saying that you it's going to close out really soon. You won't be able to buy tickets after a certain time. So I kept going back and forth in my head, and finally, like around 7:00 my time, I was like, oh, okay, if it's still on sale, it's meant to be. And so I went on
live
there.
or taped?
This was completely live.
You
can't
live.
See this again.
Was live.
Yeah, you can't replay it too. Like, it's gone now. It's like gone, like Snapchat. So
we have video and pictures.
Yeah. So then I went on there at like 7:00 my time, and they were still on sale. So I'm like, okay. So the tickets were still on sale pretty late last night, and then this morning they were still on sale.
Oh,
so that
wait.
makes me believe that it was not a full room.
Yeah. But isn't he going to San Francisco to actually speak to people that now? Isn't that
He's-
his next
oh, no,
tour, the
so-
WAN tour?
No, it's the Better Up Summit.
Right, so he's on the WAN tour.
Well, it's a summit for his
I
fake-
just didn't know if that was a well, he's going to talk about Spare. You know he's going to talk about Spare in San Francisco. You know
Yeah,
that's gonna
yeah.
happen.
Oh no, I mean
He's
this-
got to sell books.
This was all a PR thing. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, for him to promote Better Up and then talk about how like he never had any therapy before, especially when his brother and him started Heads Together.
Yeah, they started
And I
a
have a-
mental health outreach program.
Yeah, and
in
if
the
you
UK.
go on my YouTube page, I actually have a video that I put together on.
they're on your YouTube.
Okay, well, if there is a video on the. I forgot I was on YouTube. On Heads Together and what it's all about, and Harry actually talking about how it's helped him and how his brother helped him get over this.
Yeah.
So I was mad when he was talking about coming back to London after being in Africa,
Oh yes.
and the reality of life came back. Hello, that's what us regular folks call yeah, exactly, the vacation bubble. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, it's not like you had to come back from Africa and sit at a 9-to-5 job, with fluorescent lighting.
Well, we all know the we can read between those lines too. He says he felt free in Africa. Who lived in
who lived in South Africa?
Who's from South Africa? Who lived in South Africa?
Yeah, and the other,
It
and
was Chelsea Davy,
Chelsea Davy,
his girlfriend,
was
and his
able-
one true love.
Chelsea Davy was able to protect Harry because her father owned a huge gaming reserve that was super private.
That's where
and
he
she
went.
had her own money. So it wasn't like Meghan where, she had to merch or do anything. She's hugely rich family. She was also
Huge.
very accomplished. She's a lawyer. She's a jewelry maker now. Has a baby. She has a fiance. She's very accomplished. And she wasn't with Harry for the fanfare,
No.
for the
So when he says
So when
those
he says-
subliminal
it's
message to Chelsea Davy,
it definitely means that.
yeah, I felt free in Africa.
I felt free. Well,
and then
we know why.
when I got back, I was upset. Well, yeah, because you left your girlfriend.
Yeah, the reason they're pushing the book, the reason why this wouldn't have happened had the book been successful.
Right? They've been lying.
They've
about
been
that.
lying. This happened because they're still pushing the book.
Yeah.
This was an absolute fail. And anyone who
there's
says it
questions.
was, show me the numbers, because I haven't been able to find any data that this was a huge book.
But I mean, I woke up at 4:00 in the morning to watch him talk about South Park, and for him to talk about the eviction, and for him to talk about this and that and the other thing.
Stephanie, you had to wake up at 8 a.m. in the morning.
It felt like 4:00.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, those are the reasons why I woke up to watch this, because I thought he was going to talk about actual stuff that was going on.
No.
Not one thing was discussed.
Well,
He talked about his book, about 4,000. That's what we should have done, had a drinking game about how many times he said book.
Well, no, we'd be on the floor right now if that happened. All the life-changing events he experienced, like Africa and the army, did not help him for the better, and it would with so many people. I agree. I think it probably did. I think he was doing pretty well. I really do. Because if you look at the year before Meghan came into his life, and again, I really do believe that this was a planned ambush by Marcus Anderson and Meghan. I think Harry was targeted. I think Eugenie was definitely
Blackmailed.
into something. This was definitely planned. I do, because if you look at his life before that, he was doing the Invictus Games. He was happy.
He was doing a lot of charities.
And the three of them, Princess Catherine, Prince William, and him, they were just like, doing the rounds.
And still having fun. He had a smile on his
he
face.
had a
this glow.
social life. I mean, he was probably banging a bunch of models and
Yeah.
actresses. I mean, I just don't.
He's doing his thing.
For him to say he was miserable, no, he's
I don't
miserable
like
now.
Yeah, it's annoying. He's trying to cover up his misery.
Yeah, Meghan coming was the worst thing that could have ever happened to this
Well,
man.
they targeted him, so.
And
But you know what? He's got to show some responsibility now
show-
too.
yeah.
He's got to go. He's going to eventually go back groveling to his dad, and when the
Yeah.
money runs out, and he's going to be like, "Dad, please." And I think King Charles is gonna.
Yeah.
And I love how they didn't even respect King Charles. They kept
Yeah.
saying Charles.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
King Charles.
yeah, give me a break.
Yeah.
Come on.
Would
you call the Queen Elizabeth? I mean, is
I
that
know.
where we're going?
Yeah.
Is that where we are in life?
Crazy. Dr. Mate pushing those psychedelics.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Now I'm going to tell you this right now.
I've never taken a psychedelic.
I've taken mushrooms.
Have you?
Yes.
When?
I took mushrooms one time in my life, and it was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Okay. My boyfriend and my girl and my good friend and her boyfriend, we were going to the Green Day concert. Okay. And at this point, you know, I'm living in LA and I've tried stuff, you know, everyone tries, you know, something once and, you know, but I never tried something and then loved it so much that I got addicted. So I was lucky there. But, you know, I'm thinking magic mushrooms are like taking cocaine or
taking cocaine
or an Ambien or a, you know, painkiller. I don't know. In my head, that's what I'm thinking it is.
Oh God.
That's what
I'm not that dumb.
Never taken a psychedelic in my life. So we take the mushrooms and I mean, they're just like, they look like mushrooms. I mean, they're little mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And you take the
they're
mushrooms
poison, basically.
And we drove, and I remember it was like, it wasn't in Long Beach, but it was far. It was like an hour away from LA. And we're driving and I'm not feeling the affection. I'm starting to feel groovy kind of. And I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be great. I'm feeling groovy. So we get to the concert and my boyfriend and my two friends want to go to the front of the stage because it's a Green Day concert and everyone's like, there's a mosh pit and there's people like da. I start having the worst trip. And that's when people say like, I start freaking out for no reason. I start seeing things. I start hearing things. I start hearing like elves.
I would never.
I start hearing like little elf people. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if anyone's ever been to a Green Day concert before, but if you the end of the show, they have these little guys. I can't say the other word, that little people come out and dance. They kind of dance. And they're like, so I'm thinking, oh my God, the fairies are real. The little elves are real. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. So I make my friends leave the Green Day concert early because I was having such a bad trip.
Elizabeth, I haven't smoked weed either. I can't do any of that stuff.
Smoking weed, I did once too.
Okay, but we don't have, this is the most
I'm
boring.
just saying, when I'm a very anxious person.
I have high anxiety and insomnia. If you gave me something like that, I would lose it.
It sounds like Harry doing this stuff is a really bad idea.
Yeah, he shouldn't be doing that.
But it sounds like somebody
should be having a glass of wine and a Xanax. Yeah, that's what you should be doing.
It sounds like somebody
take a Xanax.
Somebody has hooked him. He sounded like weed was a good idea. So it sounds like he does edibles, in my opinion. It sounds like he does edibles.
CB.
I haven't even smoked weed and never been to a Green Day concert. Sorry.
Jealousy of William. Absolutely. It showed a lot. Man, it showed a lot. This was the most boring interview I've ever seen, but it was also one of the most telling because you could see he's not in a good place. You could tell he's not in a good place.
It doesn't surprise me the story that Jennifer Aniston would want them banned from the bungalows because as someone who's been to the bungalows, even taking pictures outside, having pops outside is a big no-no.
Well, and also Jennifer Aniston,
big no-no.
He talked about her best friend Courtney in the book.
And she took that back. She goes, I've never
she said, I've never offered anyone magic mushrooms. And this woman has a child. Give me a break, man. Don't talk about that stuff. That's insane.
Yeah, mushrooms are not a good idea. Don't do that. Don't smoke weed. Don't do that, guys. It messes with brain chemistry. Just don't do it.
It's not good.
Stick with alcohol, man.
It's like Xanax,
just like a Xanax
and an Ambien,
boom. You're good.
And go to an actual therapist. Do not go to Harry.
Yeah, don't take drugs, especially without the.
Drugs are drug. He's right about doctors do hand out antidepressants. Listen, during the pandemic, doctors were giving out antidepressants like chiclets. It was like here.
Well, I understand that, but it's also under the umbrella of a doctor. A doctor is watching you do this. They're managing
It's
it.
a controlled substance.
Don't go
yeah.
and buy edibles down the street and then go to a Green Day concert.
But if
That's
you,
so
but if that
stupid.
works for you guys, like there's some people that have pain and they like it, and I don't know, just don't listen to Harry. That's my only advice. Don't listen to Harry. I don't
Who's
care what you
watching
guys
Lion
do.
King? Desiree, I've never seen the Lion King, but that is very worrisome.
Who's watching?
I think they're going to start doing this from now on. I think this was their intention.
Ooh,
when
Tabitha.
I think this was their intention the whole time. 2 years ago when they moved to California was to come here and get
It does
paid
make you paranoid, Tabitha.
and get paid to do talks like this. I don't think they're going to make the money that they thought they were going to make. I really think it's a bad idea. Yeah,
that was horrible, man. The end was awful. We thought the last 10 minutes were going to be good, man.
No, and can I tell you why? Because that's their payday.
Yeah.
They're going to get paid to tell that story. They're going to get paid to talk about
the South Park, and
they're going to get paid to talk about Frogmore. And guess when they're going to talk about Frogmore? They're going to do it during the coronation.
Yeah, maybe.
That's when they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
They definitely took the spotlight away from the funeral, the Queen's funeral, definitely.
Yeah, and
it was all about them.
And trust me, you're going to hear them. They're going to sit down with Oprah or somebody, and they're going to do a huge interview about the Frogmore eviction during the coronation week. Period. Yeah. So, okay.
We'll probably do a video.
Weed causes anxiety and paranoia.
Yeah,
I agree, 100%.
That's what my doctor said too.
100%. I agree with you. Some people can do it.
Do you know that I've never even had a cup of coffee ever in my life because of the caffeine? Because I have so much anxiety.
Yeah, but some of us can.
No. I'm talking about people.
Yeah.
You get caffeine makes people jittery.
It's just you got to do what you do. Another Netflix special about the eviction.
Yeah. No, you're right, Maria.
Totally.
No, they're gonna get paid.
They're gonna get paid. So
thanks for tuning in with us. That was a slice of torture.
Yeah, that was awful, but we had a really good time with you guys. I love talking to you. We'll get better at these lives. We'll get better at not arguing and talking over each other, and we will definitely answer questions a little bit better. And thank you.
Did you guys really not like the arguments though? I mean, what were we? I mean, that was the most boring interview. I mean, what were we? What did you want us to do?
Sauvignon Blanc. That's good. I like Sauvignon Blanc.
I like Sauvignon Blanc.
That's good too.
I'm a Chardonnay girl, but I like Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah. I've been more into Pinot Noir lately.
Really?
Yeah, like a good red. But who knows?
That'll help calm you down.
Yeah.
Too.
But if I do go out and drink, or if I am out of town, I like my drink of choice is gin martini.
Her boyfriend and her love gin.
That or Patron. Yeah. So, okay. The arguments are the only reason you watch. Well, Jackie, you're in luck. You're in luck because that'll probably never go
ready.
Oh yeah, Pinot Noir is my new favorite too. Share with me, Anna, next time I'm on here, what kind you like, and I'll say, Nancy sucks. She's just mad at me because when it snowed.
I was going to just say that. I was just going to say that. So you were twins.
Okay.
So Nancy, it snowed last week. Okay. Portland was under 10 inches of snow. And Nancy
on her car
goes to my car and writes Steph sucks on it.
And she didn't know it was there.
And I didn't even know it was there. But I'm telling you, isn't that funny that we thought about that at the same time?
We had the twin ESP going on.
No, but it's so funny. It's like people think I'm being mean. How am I being mean to my twin sister? It's like she's my best friend and we talk like this. Sorry. There are arguments amongst best friends.
Let me see if I can find a picture.
One day I'm going to snap though. Trust me. No, but she started it. She said, Steph sucks.
Yeah. We had a blizzard in Portland, which February is definitely not blizzard.
Wait, I think there's snow right there. There's snow right there.
I know, but that's not when I did it.
Oh, how many pictures of the snow did you take?
Of pictures. Well, the dogs are cute in them, and you got to get that. Keep talking, Steph. Talk to them while I find it.
I said, yeah, sisters suck. Nancy and I, We said if we get 10,000 followers on this, we're gonna sing "Sisters" from White Christmas.
Live.
Sisters. Okay, this is what Nancy did to me. Okay, during the Portland snowstorm. Okay, so this is not that big of a deal. Okay, that's not that big of a deal.
That's her car.
I'm not being mean. I'm not being mean. Nancy put that on my car.
And the funny thing is, she hasn't gotten a car wash, so the snow melted, and you
Yeah.
can still
See,
see the
Steph
stuff sucks.
That's what I gotta do today.
Yeah,
It's
so
been just so cold on the West Coast. I mean,
Yeah.
it's snowing in California. It's just a nightmare.
checkmate.
Okay, so
Okay.
thanks for tuning in, and then I guess we will see you guys
We'll see you guys soon.
soon.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye. Thank you for everything.
Love you.
We'll see you
Love you
soon.
guys. Yeah.
Love you more.
Gotta end it.
It's 2 hours.